Grand Rising, loved ones. Welcome back to another episode of Healing Wisdom with me, your favorite spiritual advisor, Empress Oracle. Get myself together, y'all. My bad. So, before we get into our topic, let's go on ahead and break our fast from each other with our spiritual copyright disclaimer. On behalf of Starseed Galactic Federation, I have been given access to this knowledgeable information from my Akashic records for the purpose of helping humanity. This information is given directly to me as a divine channel, and any use or reproduction of this information without proper accreditation or acknowledgement from which this information was received will result in instant karma for the plagiarizing parties or individual. And so it is. Now, let's get started. So today's topic is called to be a target. Called to be a target. My bad. So what do I mean by that? I'm talking about us enlightened individuals. A lot of us are chosen ones, and a lot of us are spiritually, as they call, woke or awakened or enlightened to the fact that there is more to this life, that basically this life is just, it's kind of like a video game, that we're living, and once you wake up and you start realizing your full power, your full potential, the gift that you were given to help humanity, because all of us are God's children and we have a choice either to choose to rise or to choose to stay asleep. But a lot of us have to go through certain things along our life's path in order to trigger our awakening. However, a lot of times when a lot of people get awakened, you do find some people that they will become awokened or enlightened or whatever you would like to call it, and then all of a sudden they're just constantly under spiritual attack. They start doubting themselves, they start doubting their spirituality, they start wondering, did they make all of this up? Is it fake or not? And then all of a sudden they choose to live a life basically like a hermit to hide because they feel safe like that. That's because once you acknowledge your path and your purpose, and once you are awoken or awakened or however you want to say it, I don't care. Once you start doing that, then you become a target because there are lower entities. There are people who they worship the dark. You have Satanists, Luciferians, whatever you like to call them. You have other people who call on dark energies and forces, and they feed off of the light, because I'm going to tell you, light attracts dark. Just like moths are attracted to fire, flames, lights, mosquitoes, all of that. They're all attracted to the light. It's for a reason, because light is the strongest and highest energy source. So if you do not know how to control your light, or if you just are not aware of your power, a lot of times you will have dark energies or entities that will try to attach themselves to you, especially once they know that you are chosen and you have chose the path of light. They will try to bring you down. They will try to draw all of your energy out of you for their dark purposes and intentions. And that is why a lot of people who they start their endeavors or their journeys into spirituality, but then a lot of times they may fall off, or they try to do it in seclusion and they become a lot secluded, and they end up being hermits and they don't really want to be around people. That is because they don't fully know how to protect themselves. They have been misled to believe that all of the things that are being thrown at them are too much for them and are going to take over them. But what we have to understand is, as chosen ones and enlightened individuals, we have the power to protect ourselves. We are not targets. You are only a target if you make yourself a target. There is a saying, many are called, but few are chosen. Now, I'm not sure where that saying came from, because I've been hearing it for years, since I was a child. However, that saying is very true, because many are called to the path of lightness. Many are called to the path of spirituality. However, few are chosen. A lot of people will have their spiritual awakening, and because basically using dark forces, dark energies, and dark entities, they get that instant gratification. They get that quick fix. So therefore, they are not truly chosen. They choose to go to the dark side and do things quick, fast, and in a hurry. But in turn, they end up binding their souls, and they don't even make themselves a target. Okay? They make themselves a sacrifice to the darkness and the dark energies and entities that want their light. And it's a trap. A lot of times there are a lot of, these religions and other spiritual based causes or organizations that pop up, knowing, especially when people are first coming into their spiritual awakening, they will notice and they will realize that. And because that person is not fully aware of the difference between light and dark when it comes to spirituality, they just feel the energy and the aura. And until they get that discernment, those organizations and affiliations will try to get that person before they even realize their true strength and their true power. And then they ascend, but then they descend. They never fully reach the pinnacle of their ascension process. A lot of times people choose to suppress their spiritual gifts and superpowers because it makes them more susceptible, as I said before, to the dark energies and entities, especially if they don't know how to protect themselves. What we must realize as awakened individuals is that if we are called to higher service, we automatically have a certain level of protection. A lot of people are not aware of that. How many times have you been in situations where you've been like, damn, I should have died? You know you should be dead, but you're still here. Let that, just think about that, because I know as I say that, a lot of people are thinking about a lot of situations, and it is for a reason. Is because that is not a part of your destiny. A lot of people always wonder, well, why do the good die young? If you say that if you're chosen at X, Y, and Z, why do the good die young? But what we don't realize and what we need to understand is they were not necessarily targeted. A lot of times they fulfilled their purpose. They came down here with a certain purpose, and sometimes certain people's purposes are only fulfilled posthumously. That is when it has the biggest effect on the people around them. But that is a part of their soul contract, and most times people who have that type of purpose, they are aware of that before they cross over into the spiritual realm again, after leaving the flesh, should I say. It is written in our Akashic records, our destinies and our challenges. We choose them in order to activate and enhance certain spiritual gifts that may be laying dormant. You know what I'm saying? They may be laying dormant, whether it's due to fear or our environment or forced suppression from outside sources, which that can be anything. That could be your parents. That could be, say, if you were in the military, and in the military, they don't want you to have a outward, expression of certain cultural or spiritual beliefs and stuff. I went through that. So you have to suppress it and stuff. And a lot of times you get used to that suppression, but it's always inside of you. So you'll never fully feel as though you fit in whatever environment that you are. You may become acclimated to it temporarily, but long term, you will never feel as though you fully fit in. And that's because you have a higher calling, a higher purpose. Right? And it's in your records. It's in your Akashic records. So a lot of times you have those people who they just look like lost souls. They're just wandering around. That's because their soul knows that they have a purpose. But outside elements and certain things may have happened, because they were not in their power or they did not wake up yet. People may do things to try to bind them and tie them and suppress them. And in turn, that can make you go crazy. That it can have a lot of negative effects. The first step in activating your protection is to have faith. Okay? Just like I say all the time, faith without works is dead. Even if it's faith the size of mustard seed, you can have faith the size of a period at the end of a sentence. That is enough to build on. That is all you need. It not only says that in the Bible, all other different types of genres of spiritual texts and scripts that you will find everywhere else, there is always some element of you having to have faith and having to believe. Even if you're not religious, even if you're spiritual, you're Wiccan, whatever it is, you have to have that element of faith. Because if you don't have faith, how is your magic going to work? How is your culminations of everything that you're trying to do, how is that going to work? How is your manifestations, how are they going to work if you have no faith, right? Faith without works is dead. Okay, where was I? Also, you need to call on your ancestors and your spirit guides to help you and to guide you as you unlock your gifts in order to fulfill your soul's purpose. Because we tough, but we not that tough on our own. Everybody has a team. Everybody has a soul team up above that you cannot see that is here for you. But the thing is, as humans, we tend to be control freaks. I know I struggled with that. I still struggle with that sometimes. Sometimes it takes a lot for me to be like, okay, let me step back and call on my guides, call on my ancestors, call on source divine, my father, to help me, because really that is what they want to do. All right, you think that it's just you, but really in your flesh suit it's just you, but really the motherboard, everything going on up here, it is a culmination of your guides, your ancestors, your guardian angels. You have a whole soul team that is there willing to help, and all you have to do is call on them. But you need to have that faith. You need to believe that you are protected, because if you don't believe that you are protected, then you leave yourself vulnerable to all types of attacks. If you believe you are a target, then you will become one. I'm gonna read that again. I don't think you heard me. You in the back, you ain't hear me, so I'm gonna read it again. I got you. If you believe you are a target, then you will become one. That is why, this is a pause, that's why a lot of times things of the dark, people, when they try to intimidate you, the tactic that they always choose to use is fear. Because once they instill fear in you, they can expound on that, right? That fear will have you believe in shit that's not even real. Fear will have you caught up in illusions. Fear will have you caught up in simulations that will deter you from your path and your purpose and your ascension process. And we don't need that. We don't need that. Just remember that all who are chosen face experiences that would take a normal person out, i.e. those near-death experiences that I told you about earlier, right? But that right there should let you know that you have a purpose, and that should give you the faith that you need to fully step into your calling. The mind manifests what it wants to believe, and that is very true. I know anybody out there, I know you thinking about it and you're like, yeah, that's true, because you could think something, and although you may not see any proof of it, you keep on thinking it, you keep on thinking it, you keep on thinking it, and there you go, you have manifested that negativity into your life. Stop doing that, right? Choose not to be a target and continue to walk in your light, for that is what will protect you. Walk in your light. Call on your guides, call on Archangel Michael, ask him to surround you in a white light of protection. Believe that you are protected and carry on smartly. Listen to your intuitive nudges on how to further protect yourself, because everybody's magic is different, right? Your guides will tell you what to do, right? Do you believe in magic? Do you believe in magic? Because we are all made up of magical things, right? We're all made up of energy. We're all made up of magic. We all have our own magic, right? Words are spells. Your faith, your religion, whatever you want to call it, that is all a form of magic. Use that to protect yourself. Pray, ask God, source, universe, divine, your ancestors. I don't give a fuck. Ask them what to do, and when you start seeing the signs, when you start seeing the synchronicities and the symbolisms, listen to that, move forth. If you're sitting there and all of a sudden something says, man, I just want to go out and walk in the rain barefoot, do that. That might be a purification process and a grounding process for you that is given to you from your guides. So never, ever, ever just shake off any of the thoughts that you have as crazy, unless they are involving harming others. Then you know your shit is not right. Then you know your shit's not right. Well, that's all I had to say, guys. Kept it short and sweet. Don't forget to check me out on Etsy, Empress Oracle Shop, for all of your crystals, because you need your crystals for grounding and protection. And you will realize that as you go further along your spiritual journey, that not only do you have to believe, but it's up to you to make sure that you keep yourself protected. With that being said, go ahead and check me out. Be safe and have a wonderful, blessed day. I love you all.